Well, welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are here today to review the Pistons' most heartbreaking loss I can recall in a minute in Charlotte. The Pistons lose on the buzzer to a Brandon Miller putback. Final score 107 Detroit, 108 Charlotte. And yeah, this was a heartbreaker. I have gone through all the emotions now. We're about 2.5 hours removed from the final buzzer, and it's a mixture of frustration, sadness, missed opportunity, like kind of a little bit of morale, like not morale victory, but there's part of me that's like, well, they're still in these games. They've been in every game but the Knicks. They're 3-6 now. Just so many emotions from this game. Like we discussed it on the post game stream, which you can go check out, but yeah, I think the overarching where I sit is this was disappointing, and it was disappointing not because they lost at the buzzer and not because of, the last 2 minutes. It was disappointing because it felt like Detroit were in control of this game for most of the night, especially the first three quarters. Like they came out, Cade came out and had like 14 in the first quarter. He finished with a 20-point triple double. But they just didn't ever break away and put together a really like substantial run. They got up by 9 points at one stage in the second, which was the largest lead of the game. The Hornets' largest lead was like 6 points. So this game was very much like constantly within like a couple of buckets. But the Pistons just felt like the more talented team. Like I just maybe like I'm not sure if Charlotte fans felt like this, but the Hornets played so bad in that first half, and it just, particularly the first quarter and a half, like I just felt like the Pistons should have got further ahead, and they never just kind of put their foot down and took control. And it was just, they were always up by like 2 to 6 points, but you just knew that LaMelo Ball was going to get right, and you just knew that the Hornets were going to put together a run because they're at home. Like it's just how it goes. And then the Pistons don't capitalize on their opportunities. They lose Jalen Duren in the first quarter to a sprained ankle, which didn't look too serious, but serious enough for him to miss the remainder of the game. So we'll see what happens there. I'm hopeful it's only, he's back next game or only misses no more than a week. But, it felt like that was a bit of a loss because tonight was a game Durant could have dominated on the glass. The Hornets were missing their two bigs. But even without Durant, it just felt like the Pistons should have won this game. And they just never capitalized. And then LaMelo comes through in the fourth, drops 15 points, gives the Hornets the lead. Um, and it takes a crazy steal on the inbound from Ron Holland, or I think Tobias Harris slapped the ball away, and then Ron grabbed it and then converted in transition for the Pistons to be up by one with like 6 seconds left. And then immediately JB goes to a lineup without Cade or any bigs, and they play great defense for 5.5 seconds to make the Hornets miss, but Beasley forgets to box out his man, and Brandon Miller flies in, put back, ball game. Uh, some of this is on JB. I think you probably should have had Paul Reed or Isaiah Stewart in there to close. But a lot of fans are not happy with Cade. He didn't score in the fourth quarter, 0 points. I think he went in the second half, or after the first quarter, he went like 1 of 12. So, I think he made like the Hornets, like most NBA teams now, are just come the fourth quarter early or towards the end of the third, they send the second man to Cade every time, whether he's coming out of pick and roll, whether he's posting up in the mid post. There's constantly a second man there. I thought he did a really good job at finding the open man. But, it's hard for me to push back on fans who are frustrated because ultimately 0 points in the last quarter from your franchise guy, it's not going to cut it. It doesn't matter. And you're playing against the Hornets, who aren't a very good team. So, uh, disappointing from Cade, but I don't think it's, some of the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter is a bit too much. But look, it's emotions. I get it. I get why people are frustrated. But, um, you know, Pistons should have won this game. They should have. They should be 4-5. They had more talent tonight. Even without Durant, the Hornets were missing some key personnel. And like I said, the Hornets just in the first half, they just did not play very well. And I just feel like the Pistons didn't capitalize. And I know ultimately, like, even if the Pistons got up by 20 in the first half, like, teams come back all the time, especially a team led by LaMelo Ball. But I think where it was a bit disappointing is when you go on those big runs and get that 15 to 20 point lead when you should, it allows guys to get into a good rhythm. One of the key issues tonight was Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley just never got into a groove. And, you know, Tim Hardaway Jr. was really good, but we need at least two out of those three vets playing well for the Pistons to win, and you only got one tonight. So Jaden Ivey was another positive, 21 points, decent efficiency, hit another three triples. I think he was 50% from the field. Ron Holland and Paul Reed were huge positives tonight. Ron Holland hit two threes, and then, like I said, made that clutch layup in transition to give them the lead, which felt like the game winner. But his 3-point shot, 2 of 3 tonight. It's looking more refined. I love the aggressiveness and the confidence he has. Like, to take a step back three and make it, to hit your wide open corner three, and then to take that shot. Like, go back and watch it. It's pretty crazy. Like, it looks like, considering the pressure and the circumstances, it's a wild shot. And he made it, and he almost won the game for them. But he was a huge bright spot. I think he finished with 8 or 10 points. And that's his second really good game in a row. So shout out to Ron. And then Paul Reed, 13 points, 100% shooting. He came in, I think he played like 12 minutes, couple of rebounds. I loved his energy. He's got really good touch around the basket. Like, compared to Stu and Duran, he provides something there they don't, where you can kind of throw it to him and he can do a little bit more. I just like his touch. Like, he had a really nice lefty hook, couple of dunks, and he's just very active and available, which I also love about him. But yeah, overall, that is a huge gut punch, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they respond on Friday night against the Hawks, because that's a game I think they have to win. I think it's a game they should win, and it's going to be very interesting to see, just off the back of this game, the energy they come out with, because the energy was not there at the start of the third and for much of that first half. I just didn't feel like the energy was there, and I think that's on everyone. That's why Paul Reed and Ron Holland stand out so much, because they play with high energy all the time. Uh, I know that might not be Cade's natural game, but I need him being more aggressive. But yeah, disappointing night. Still some positives, but no moral victories for this team. Let me know your thoughts. I'm still, I've calmed down from the real heightened emotions, but yeah, my analysis probably isn't the most amazing, because it's just been that was just a real gut punch. It's hard to man, it's just hard to process my thoughts on that. But I think we're all feeling it. But ultimately, 3-6, not the end of the world, but must win against Atlanta. So I hope I'm back here on Friday talking about a win. But until then, please like, subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, love to respond to you all. But until then, as always, go Pistons.